Hi, friends. How are you? Welcome to this week's episode of Ask Me Anything. This is your opportunity to just come on, say hello, and ask questions. So, this works in two ways. I will take questions that I have been previously submitted to myself on Facebook, and then you can also add your questions as I'm chatting here live. So, yeah, this is an opportunity for us to get down, to get dirty, to talk about business, life, and everything in the in between. Let's start right about here with the most popular question of the week. Sharmi asked, with the upcoming holiday season, what steps can I take to automate my business so I can be offline and be present with my family? So I'm going to dive into number one, capacity. And this is going to be the first thing of three. When it comes time to spend time with your family during the holidays and still growing your business, you have to ask yourself, do I have the capacity to do both? Because if you don't have the capacity to run your business at the current state in which you're running and add on the extra family time, the holiday parties, the old friends coming back into town, if you do not have the capacity to do both, then your only option is to say, I will continue to work the same amount in my business and not make any changes to my personal life. Or you're going to have to say, I'm going to be spending more time with my friends and family during the holiday season, and my business might have to take a back seat. And that's okay. Like, it's better for you to make the cognizant decision to say, you know what, I'm probably not going to work the same amount that I have been working over the past year. And so instead of beating yourself up, waking up in the morning being like, oh my gosh, I have my friends like meet and greet tonight, and then I have like my church party, and then I'm going to go feed the homeless, and I'm not building my business, I should just hate myself. No, friends, your capacity means that if you can't do both at 100%, just choose where you're going to skimp and splurge during the holiday season, which leads us to point number two of deciding time between your friends and family during the holiday season is consistency. Is that if you know that you will not be thrusting and throttling the same way that you have within your business, consistency can be planned for. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, as I'm going into the holiday season, we are halfway through the month of November, and I'm already telling myself and my task and my team and saying, I am going to take the last 2 weeks of December and be totally me. I might even go off the grid. I might just like not be posting on social media because that's going to be a business decision. I once heard Lily Singh and Gary Vaynerchuk talk about what they call the disappearing December, where you like disappear from social media. And I was like, oh, I love this. So I'm not quite sure if I'm going to go off the grid, but what I do know with certainty is that I am not taking any business projects, podcasts, interviews, tasks. I said I'm going to do everything for the next 4 weeks to ensure that I'm not working on the daily grind in those last 2 weeks, but the consistency is being planned for. I can plan my posts. I can post them out at a strategic amount of time, so I'm still showing up on social if I decide to do that, and then just say, hey, during these times each day, I'm going to respond to comments, and everything beyond that, I'm just not going to. That goes back down to capacity, and then planning for consistency, which leads us to point number three of how to balance your time during the holidays, which would be contentment. And I don't want to get so woo here with you guys, but like, that's truly it. Like, can you just be content in saying, I am doing the best I can by my business and still making time for friends and family? So when it comes back down to planning for the holidays, it will boil down to number one, capacity, number two, consistency, and number three, contentment. Can I get an amen? If you have questions, friends, please leave them here. And if you are ready to experience the holidays with your friends, your family, and your business because you have planned and you have a strategy in place, shout out to social curators who are making this happen on the daily. But if you're ready to do that, like, let me know. Like what you're seeing, or leave me an emoji. Like, I love connecting with you, and I want to know what is really resonating with y'all. So Brenda asks, can you give us tips on keeping our emails out of junk mail? Many are saying they aren't getting them. We sell chocolate plus a subscription box. What's examples of some emails to be sending. And I thought that this was really great because people who are using social media, people who are using newsletters as part of their marketing, our goal always is to never have our emails go to spam. And I have to tell you, there's a good possibility that it's not about your emails going to spam because the content's not good. It boils down to these three things. And now here's the thing. I want to make sure I am not like an email specialist. I'm not like proven tips and tricks. I can just tell you what I have done in the past year to really improve our open rates and have our stuff not go to spam. Number one, I removed all graphics from my email. So photos, GIFs, banners, a lot of photos. I removed. Number two, I limit it to only 2 exit links. I'm not adding a bunch of links because that indicates that it could possibly be spam. And then number three, I have to add at the end of it a clear way to unsubscribe. So why am I adding a clear way to unsubscribe? Because if people can't clearly see how they can unsubscribe, what they want to do is immediately mark that email as spam. And when your emails are getting consistently marked as spam, it's telling Google, it's telling Yahoo that you are sending emails that people really don't want to see. And so then your account gets indexed. If you're saying, Jasmine, I don't put a lot of photos, I don't have a lot of links, I'm really having a clear way for people to unsubscribe, then I'm going to tell you what we also did this year to really improve our deliverability. And this is a list hygiene and a list cleanse. So what does this mean? If you have been growing your business with a newsletter list and you've had people on that list for maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, there's a good chance that people have emails that are old or they've transitioned away from. And so people aren't opening their emails. If a large amount of people on your list are not opening their emails, it's indicating to Google and AOL and Yahoo. Why did I say AOL like it's 1997? Listen, my parents still use AOL. Okay. So it's indicating to email service providers that if a lot of people aren't opening it, that people don't really want it. So what you then have to do is go through and clean your list. I can't get into the specifics because everybody has a different email service provider like MailChimp, Entreport, Infusionsoft. What you would want to do is to go back and start identifying lists of people who have not opened in over 3 months. People who have not opened an email in 3 months, you're going to want to segment that list, and you're either going to want to re-engage them by giving them free things or enticing them to open the email. And if they still don't email, it would probably be best to remove them from your list. And I know some people are like, what? That's crazy. Listen, I clean my list every 90 days. If you're not opening my emails, I don't want to bother you, and I want a really great open rate. So there you go. I don't know. Was that too geeky? Was that too like high-level businessy stuff that we're talking about newsletter lists? Because if you want to know more about that, please let me know. But if it's not your cup of tea, like, hey, we can go back and just talk about what you want to talk about. Okay, let's go into a live question. Joy and Shane, is that the mic so you can have great audio for your podcast? And which one are you using? Okay, so we're trying out new things right now. Last week, or actually just this past week on the podcast, I released a new test. And I was like, hey, I did this Facebook Live and I'm repurposing the audio on the podcast. And the response to that podcast was so amazing. And people were like, Jasmine, I just don't have time to catch every Facebook Live. But if you had them on a podcast, I can listen. And I was like, let me try this again. So this time I'm recording with a legit mic, which is, yes, very annoying, but like you're even getting better audio right now. So I'm hoping that's a win-win other than it just looks really, really awkward in my face. I'm using the Heil, H-E-I-L mic, and it's the PR40. I'm kind of obsessed with it. And this right here is the Dragon Pad pop filter. So I pronounce my P's and my S's like really long. And so the pop mic really helps that. Are we getting geeky? I think we're getting really geeky. This is so nerdy. Veronica asked, loving the holiday promotional schedule for sure. I'm not selling something, but getting ready to offer a free resource. Ooh, I love this. So during the holidays, this is great, Veronica. During the holidays, there's a lot of people who are promoting, saying, buy my thing, buy my thing. But Veronica's gonna come in and say, here's a free resource. Well, everybody's asking for sales. I'm actually gonna give you a gift. So happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and Christmas. Let's call this Happy Merry Chrismaka. Okay, let's get into a question from Stephanie Valentin. How to best utilize our non-busy season? I'm a wedding photographer here in New York City, and my weddings don't pick back up until April. What can I do in the meantime? Any special shoots I should offer to get myself out there? Oh, okay. So here's the best question. Stephanie is asking right now, what can I do during my slow season? Now, Stephanie is a photographer, but I'm really going to be talking to anybody that has a clearly delineated or demarcated slow season. what you want to do during your slow season is number one, give yourself the permission to be creative. And I don't mean this like, oh, go and paint a picture. Although if you want to do that, go ahead. What I'm saying is be creative in your business. And I want you to reverse engineer. I want to get into the mind of your dream customer and say, what does he want to see? What does she want to see? What does he want to read? And what does she want to read? And what do they want to listen to? And then what I want you to do is I want you to make it. I want you to make, and create during your slow season. I want you to create content your dream customer wants to see, save, and share. Dream customer will look at your stuff and say, man, I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to save this. I can't wait to share this. Because Instagram is slowly rolling out that they're going to be removing the likes on Instagram photos. So what are they weighing the most right now? Well, if somebody saves your Instagram post, that is like the greatest thing that they could do in the algorithm right about now. So you want to create content during your slow season. I don't care if you're a jewelry maker, a real estate agent, a photographer. When it gets slow, what I want you to do is like, man, how can I create something that's so cool, so rad that they're going to want to save this on Instagram? They're going to want to tag a friend on Instagram. That's 100% where I want you to be during the slow season. Let's get in for Melody Olson. Hi, we are doing a social curator meetup in Minnesota in a few minutes. Oh my God. Okay, Melody, girlfriend, okay, Melody, send me a DM on Instagram so that I can send back a message just to the curators there in Minnesota. Or better yet, go into the private Facebook group, put a post in there so I can go back and leave a video for all of y'all meeting out in Minnesota. Please do that. I'm so excited. Okay, so Jamie says, would love some tips for re-engaging people who haven't opened your emails in 3 months. Ooh, Jamie, you want to geek out here? Let's geek out here. So what we did was once we segmented our list for people who hadn't opened their emails in 3 months, I sent a series of 4 emails, and each of those emails led with a value add. Like the subject line was, click here to get a free Instagram story checklist, right? These are already free resources that I've shared out publicly, but maybe they didn't see them. And so if anybody's here and they want the Instagram story checklist, jasminestar.com/IG story checklist, right? And then the next email was just like, hey, I'd love to walk you through how to build your brand in 3 easy steps. That was a free resource, jasminestar.com/branding. I'm giving them gifts just to be like, hey, maybe that this is the thing they actually really wanted to get into. So 4 emails. And we sent those 4 emails out in a span of 14 days. And we didn't send on the weekends. And if they didn't open then, they're just really not opening the email. Or they just really don't want to hear from me. So we just got them off the list. There you go. Like that question. Let's get into another question from Tyville. So besides Q&A types of live shows, how would you use Instagram and Facebook Lives for your business as a wedding photographer? Well, this is not just for a wedding photographer. This is for anybody who wants to do Q&A style shows like what we're doing right now. I just called it a show. Hey, that felt a little awkward, but amazing at the same time. So I go live on Instagram twice a week. I go live on Facebook once or twice a week. And these are Q&A style shows. I'm really just creating content based on what you want to know. But he's asking, well, what other type of Q&A shows that can we do? Like, I am in an industry, like how many times can I talk about photography? And my advice is to become an industry insider. So what does this mean? I want you to position yourself as like the mayor of your industry. I want you to position yourself as like a public relations agency in your industry. So like, what do I really mean by that? What I want you to do is to position yourself as a leader and authority and give insider access to people who are not in your industry, but you all share the same dream customers. I would love for you to interview industry peers for an inside look and benefits for your customers. It's like, so what do we really mean here? Like, if you are a wedding photographer, you can do a Q&A session. You can bring somebody on live, on Instagram Live, who's a wedding coordinator, an officiant, a DJ, a venue, a videographer, and you can repeat that same thing again and again, because what you're doing is you're creating valuable content, positioning yourself as an authority, asking great interview questions, and all of a sudden people are like, hey, that Tyvo guy, he's a wedding photographer, but he has inside access to bring on the coolest wedding coordinators. And then all of a sudden, by you giving access to your audience to this wedding coordinator, all of a sudden the wedding coordinators look at you as like, hey, this guy is doing like really great stuff. Like, I want to collaborate with him more. And this is going to open the doors for you in two different ways. Position you as an authority for people who don't have insider access, and position you as an authority to other people in your industry because you're doing stuff to create waves. This is not just for wedding photographers. If you're a real estate agent, I want you, and let's just say you're a real estate, if I was a real estate agent here in Newport Beach, I would have a Q&A on Instagram. I would go to my favorite coffee shop. I would say, I'm going live and I am bringing on, and then boom, I would bring on the mayor of Newport Beach to talk about Newport Beach. I would bring on the superintendent of Newport Beach schools to talk about how great the schools are. I would bring on like a mortgage broker to talk about how the interest rates are where they are at right now and how to prepare people. Basically, I would bring on the owner of the coffee shop on my Q&A and be like, hey, this is Jim. This is my favorite coffee shop. If you move to Newport Beach, this is where you want to work, and here's why, and why. You're just basically positioning yourself as an authority and an insider to give people access to stuff they would not have otherwise. Okay, how does that sound? Are we getting an amen? Does that make sense for you? Are you all about that life? Afton Porter, do you recommend a business account on Instagram or creators? We actually addressed this fully 2 weeks ago on an Instagram Live. The creator account is phenomenal if you are an influencer or if you're doing paid agreements and advertisement and co-branding with other businesses. The creator account is you can actually respond to direct messages. You can schedule IGTV from creator account. You have to use creator account from desktop. You can schedule everything on desktop, and then you could push it out to Instagram. Currently, you can't schedule your post on Instagram if you do not have a creator account. Do you need a creator account? Probably not, because, like, they are positioning the creator accounts to give deeper analytics to people that you're doing collaborations with and people who are paying you for sponsored posts. But if that's not really your cup of tea and it's not really your jive, I'm kind of like, I would probably just keep your Facebook account and your Instagram account and then just kind of like post in real time. But again, totally personal preference, but I just really didn't see that much of an upside for independent business owners who are not doing co-branded content, who are not influencers, who are not doing paid campaigns. Gabrielle Lopez asked, if I'm launching a new website in a month and my platform is creating a community, but I don't have many followers, Instagram or Facebook yet, what are your suggestions to get businesses to advertise on the website without a large following? I feel like it's the chicken or the egg situation comes first. I can't have a website without businesses, but I can't get the following without the website. So then what, if I were you, and you'll probably hear this 1,000 different ways, but I'm just telling you, I'm from the hood. And when you're from the hood, you just take what you have and you make it work. I would offer free advertising for businesses until I got a following. Like, that's just it. Like, you'll never get a following if there's no businesses. And then you'll never get businesses to pay you if you don't have a following. So it's easier to get connections with the businesses by offering them free placement on your website. And then you offer them free placement on your website for like maybe 6 months. And then if you're able to develop your following from there, then you'll slowly start charging them. But you have to make sure that you get the following, because these businesses aren't going to pay you for marketing that doesn't exist. If they're not getting customers from your website, there's no reason why they would pay you to be on your website. So if I were you, I would go free. I would go hard at creating content. I would 100% start pointing people back to that website, drive business to the businesses so that you can then monetize on the back end for their marketing. All right. Okay. So every week we go on and we have conversations about life and business. And if you have any other live questions, you can leave them here. But like always, I try testing going live at different times on Facebook. Sometimes I go live in the morning. Sometimes I go live in the evening. Let me know what you like best. I'm always here to support you with your questions. And as we go into 2020, one of the things that we're doing strongly on the inside of our community and what I'm doing as a business is to make sure that as business owners, the greatest thing that we could do to start building out our brand and creating social media marketing and not get overwhelmed is to create what I call 3 pillars of content. Now, I know as a business owner, it's very tempting to say like, oh, I could talk about anything. I could post about anything. And that 30 seconds later turns into, oh my God, I could post about anything. Like, where do I even start? So in order to avoid the overwhelm, the thing that we want to focus on would be 3 pillars of content. Now I want to take a second. Let's take a deep breath. Like, let's get grounded because I actually want you to do some work. We are legitimately a month away, more or less, from the new year, right? Well, how are you going to begin your 2020? How are you not going to be overwhelmed? How are you going to have a streamlined message? How are you going to have people care about your business? How are you going to have people say, hey, I think I want to buy from this person? I strongly believe that when you identify 3 pillars of content, so let's just say you're a photographer. What are 3 pillars of content? Let's say you're a family photographer. 3 pillars of content could be teaching families how to pose better in photos, how to best prepare for their photo shoots, and how to plan for a perfect photo session with 3 kids under 3, right? Like, you're just finding the main tenets that you're going to be talking about. And I'm going to use my example is that I have decided that in 2020, the thing I want to be synonymous with my business would be, number 1, branding. Number 2, how to market your business on social media. And number 3, how to empower business owners to believe that impossible situations are actually possible for them. So you will see most, if not all, of my Facebook posts will fall under, are we building a branding creating experience? Empowering people for social media marketing, and empowering people to go out and do the dang thing if they believe that that is what they've been called to do. And that then changes every time I go out. I'm like, even if I'm talking about my dog, right? I'm talking about my dog in context of one of three things. Am I making you believe you can go out and do it? Am I making you smarter and helping you show up on social media? Or am I talking about creating experiences by telling stories of clients, of my life, and of success stories of others? So right now, what I want you to do is the greatest gift you're going to give yourself to avoid overwhelm in 2020 is to figure out what your 3 pillars of content are. And now from here to the end of the year, start testing. What's going to start working? How are people responding? So that you can double down in 2020 on what that turns into. Denise said, this might be a little off topic, but I want to get a better camera to do lives. What do you use? Your picture is so clear. I just use the camera on my laptop. That's it. I use an Apple laptop. I think it's about 3 years old. That's what I use. So nothing fancy. And prior to this Facebook Live, I've only ever used the microphone on my laptop. So there's that. Today I am using a fancy mic, but we're just testing it out to see how it goes. Crystal had asked, you have convinced me that the impossible is possible for me. Well, heck yes and amen. Y'all, every week I show up just to serve you well and serve you better. I hope that today I did that very thing for you. As we close, we remembered we wanted to talk about capacity, consistency, and contentment as we head into the holiday season. Oh man, I'm losing my voice, y'all. I'm losing my voice. I think I'm getting sick. I'm really fighting it. Okay, send me good vibes. Send me good vibes, y'all. Send me good vibes because I cannot get sick before Thanksgiving. So I'm just going to be like, woosah. You know, it's happy hour in some places. What I'm doing is I am pouring some herbal tea. JD, my husband and business partner, he got me this very fancy, it's called Samsavar. I think this thing is like called a Samsavar. I think it is. And it just brews your tea. So when we get into the holiday season, wow, you guys, I'm dying out here. We get into the holiday season. Capacity, consistency, and contentment. If you cannot do both things at 100%, determine what you can do to keep your business running, plan for consistency that doesn't take you too much time, and then really be content that you set the terms in it, and you're not going to hate yourself or beat yourself up for not doing all the things all the ways because you've made a cognizant decision to grow your business slower over the holidays and be totally okay with that. Love you guys. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next week.